Hi guys, there was a lot of anticipation around the meeting between the newly elected Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, and the US President Donald Trump. Would it be a repeat of the backside kissing of Keir Starmer, or would it descend into chaos like what happened to Ukrainian President Zelensky? Trump had already insulted Canada, its people and its political system by claiming that it should become the 51st state and that it's freeloading on the US. However, in this clip, as you'll see here, Trump was rightly put back in his box following a ridiculous statement about trade. Watch as Carney corrects Agent Orange in a polite Canadian way.
Well, we don't do much business with Canada from our standpoint.
Respectfully, Canadians' view on this is not going to change on the 51st state. Secondly, we are the largest client of the United States in the totality of all the goods. So we are the largest client of the United States. We have a tremendous auto sector between the two of us, and the changes they've made have been helpful. 50% of a car that comes from Canada is American. That's not like anywhere else in the world. And to your question about is there one thing? No, this is a bigger discussion. There are much bigger forces involved, and this will take some time and some discussions, and that's why we're here, to have those discussions, and that is represented by who's sitting around the table.
You know, I'm starting to think that a lot of politicians, country leaders, are realizing, look, you can't really deal with Donald Trump. Or if you do a deal with Donald Trump, it's not worth the paper it's written on. So it's important to go there and to speak with him, but it's important for you to stand up for your country. Because there's no point pandering to him. There's no point genuflecting. Because even if you do, you'll still be thrown under a bus. So it sends a better message to your citizens. Look, I'm going to meet with Donald Trump, but I'm going to stand up for my citizens. I'm going to stand up for my country. And I'm not going to allow this guy to bully us, and I'm not going to allow him to spew lies about our country. Donald Trump saying here, we do very little trade with Canada, which is completely untrue. Now, which country does the most trade? Is it Canada? Is it Mexico? You can argue the figures there. But for Trump to say that the US does very little trade or almost nothing is a complete and utter lie. Now, Trump is trying to sell two narratives here. One is that the US is too reliant on Canada, and that the US is not reliant on Canada. Because he's trying to suggest that the US can move away from trade with Canada by saying, well, we don't import anything from them and we'll just produce it all ourselves, which doesn't make any sense. But on the other hand, he's saying, well, we do a lot of trade with Canada. We should use this as leverage over convincing them to become the 51st state. You can't have it both ways. So this message he's trying to sell is not to the American public, it's more to his base. Because whatever Donald Trump says, they will believe. If he says, we don't do much trade with Canada, they'll believe that. If he says, we do a lot of trade and we can use this as leverage, they'll believe that as well. But I think we're starting to see a change take place when it comes to world leaders. They saw what happened to Zelensky, they saw what Keir Starmer has done, and they see, okay, there's no advantage in kissing this guy's backside. You need to stand up to him. Because even if you do pander to Donald Trump and you do sign some sort of deal with him, it's worth nothing. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.